Welcome to Divine Decode. Today's guest is the powerhouse of creativity and consciousness, Danielle Keasling. From award winning celebrity, hairstylist, to biohacking enthusiast and serial entrepreneur, Danielle has mastered the art of aligning outer success with inner balance. She is here to decode the magic behind holistic wellness and manifestation, and how mindset truly becomes the ultimate tool for transformation. So, let's dive in. First of all, Daniel, thank you for being on the show. It's such an honor to host you today, and I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, me too. I love your whole energy and what you stand for. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for that. And yes, that's a wonderful start. Okay. Um, Daniel, you've built multiple thriving businesses across beauty and wellness, and that's so fascinating. So, how has manifestation actually shown up in your journey? Was it intentional or something you discovered along the way? And yes, how was it for you?
It's really interesting. You know, I didn't really know that I manifested probably my entire life until I would say 5 years ago. So I was naturally a manifester, and I think that That being said was something that, I was given the opportunity to, like, dream big as a child. My father was very much, you can if you can dream it, you can do it, and, basically lived for trying to teach me that it's only life is as big as you wanna make it, and, so I kind of I had that philosophy and I had that thought process, and, so I've never really struggled with it. I just didn't know that I was manifesting. I didn't know that there was, like, a law of attraction. I didn't know enough about it. I was just a child that, basically walked through life, in a manifestation, mindset, and, I lived life, the way that I wanted to, envision life, and, that's really I attribute that so much to my father, and, you know, it it's manifested over and over and over, and it was interesting. I didn't like I said, it was about 5 years ago when I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, and he said something very similar, that he, thinks he always manifested. He just didn't know what it meant, and it clicked. It clicked with me at that point. I'll never forget it. I was in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I thought, that's so interesting that he said that, because I feel like that was totally my journey with manifestation, and once I came to realize what that was and understand the law of attraction and living as if it is already yours, I was only able to capitalize that more and more through what I've grown, and what I've done in business, and what I continue to do as well. So yeah, it's part of my everyday habits, and, it's a really nice place to be when you finally give into, uh, understanding it, and, it's nice to be able to, wake up and feel like no matter what, the universe is giving me what I need in the moment.
First of all, thank you for sharing your journey with us. And that is so, so beautiful. I love the spirit. I love that. And it clearly reminds me, that our journey, it is everything, and it might be a roller coaster ride, and there are so many blessings that we have in the way to count upon. So thank you for sharing yours with us.
Mhm. Yeah,
Also, yeah.
not always perfect, right? Like, I think I think that's the misconception of a lot of people that listen to, individuals that talk about success and manifestation. They just automatically go, "Oh, another woo-woo, entrepreneur that just, has it all going for her." And yeah, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with being open to what the universe is providing for you in the given moment, whether you like it or not, whether it's negative or positive. I haven't had an easy, adult life at all. And I like to debunk that when I have conversations about mindset and manifestation, because even though manifestation is a positive outcome, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be, rainbows and unicorns getting to that outcome. You still have to continue to walk through life and go through the roller coaster, and you just have to, like I said, live as is if it's already yours. And that doesn't mean that it's going to be easy or perfect by any means.
So true, so true. Also, you often describe, as you said right now, a mindset as your device for success. But every device, it needs updates and recharging, right? And as we live in the modern world where it keeps on changing, there are so many new things and trends that we adapt to. So, what are the non-negotiable rituals or inner practices that keep your mindset clean, sharp, and high vibrational each day? And what are those practices? Can you please share it with us?
Yeah, of course. I'm a big believer in routine. Getting up, whether I'm also a big sleeper, only because I know that is huge for your body to recover. So if I don't have to set an alarm, I don't set an alarm. I have the luxury, after working 26 years in the industry, to be able to do that when I'm home and sleep. But I do keep my routine, getting up, doing the same practices. I go to yoga every day that I can. I think it's what keeps me not only physically grounded, it just keeps me mentally grounded. I know when I'm traveling, if I can't find a yoga studio, that when I do get back home, it's going to take me a minute to get back into my routine because I'm so grounded in it. And that, I think, alone has is my stability and my groundedness, is my hour and a half or hour and 15 minutes of yoga every day that I can possibly get it in. So total non-negotiables, journaling, non-negotiable. I think that, writing things out and reading them out loud, affirmations, tasks, goals. I'm a huge person with goal setting. Those are really important to keep your mindset sharp, and just, those are just non-negotiables for me. And I also try to eat really clean. I'm constantly doing, like, I live in the biohacking world as far as beauty and wellness are kind of crossing paths finally. So it's exciting times. It's not just about being in the beauty industry and using things to cover your inner wellness or superficially. It's like literally living from within, and allowing that to show up within your soul, within yourself, and then within your beauty. So I do try to do biohacking, red light therapy, cold plunging, as much as I can, as much as I possibly have the time during the day to do it. But I think I manage it pretty well. And I'm sitting here right now on a higher dose frequency mat and, on this podcast. So I make it part of my practice every day to get up. get my red light therapy on and meditate, do journaling, and then kind of start my day with yoga and go from there. So
These are beautiful, and that is actually the most best, you know, set of practices that you can have and that you can do, because these are the ones that actually heal you from within. And it's always good to be there for yourself and take care of yourself and know what your body wants, and give it that respect. And thank you for bringing this up. um Also, when this mindset, it starts to glitch sometimes, there can't be um a routine that we follow every time. There must be some distractions sometimes, and um or sometimes you're just so down that you just can't do it, and with that, doubt and burnout, it creeps in. So how do you process it, and have you felt the same?
I used to resist it. I used to think that you just if you're going to be a strong woman and you're going to be successful, you have to keep pushing through and pushing forward, and to the point of burnout and to the point of yeah, I mean craziness, to be honest with you. Now I have a completely different mindset. I listen to my body. I'm so in tune with my body that um, I know when I'm deficient in sleep. I know when I'm deficient in vitamins. I know when I'm deficient in food. I know when I'm deficient in like my own mental health. And I give myself permission to relax, and I give myself permission to be okay with not being okay. That was a really hard one for me to like wrap my head around, to be able to just say, you know what? I'm not okay today, and I am not going to come to the table with my best self. So, like, I need to show up for myself so I can show up for everyone else. And this is what the requirement is for that. And, um, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of like years of dialing back, understanding, peeling back the layers is probably the best way, peeling back the layers of, your childhood and, your adulthood and your like all of the experiences that you go through in life. And not only just like reflecting on them, but like giving honor to them, whether they're good, bad, indifferent. It is what shapes you. It's what creates you as an individual. So, I think acknowledging those, whatever those are, is super important. Understanding what those do to you, like, if they're triggers, if they, stir up a certain feeling, a certain emotion, if they, hold you if they feel like they're holding you back or propelling you forward. It's really just acknowledging that, you go through different events in life, and, you can't control any of it. Like, you can intentionally show up, with respect for yourself and, with a good mindset and a good heart, but you have to also, like, be able to, go easy on yourself and understand that, like I said, the universe brings what it is you need in that moment. And I know that's really hard for some people to wrap their head around, but um, it is what you do with it when it brings it to you that I believe is the magic.
That truly connects, that truly does. And I love that, because it reminds us that, mindset is not static. And that is something that I have to add on to. It requires care, it requires awareness. And those tiny daily calibrations that keep us connected to our truth and to ourselves. And that is so, so true. Thank you for that. Also, holistic wellness, it is a term that we hear everywhere. But in today's world of deadlines and constant stimulation, how do you define it?
I think, a balance, and, people will say, "Oh, like, work-life balance, what is that?" It's a real thing. I work I if I can have balance in my life, anyone listening to this podcast can have balance, and when I say that, I work with I am doing so many things. I work with major companies in the beauty industry, 5 of them to be exact, that I have big contracts with, and I also own and run my own coaching platform. I am doing influencing and blogging. I am doing podcasts. I am doing all of it. And but I also make the time to give back in self-care and like have non-negotiables, because if you don't, you're going to end up burning yourself out. And those of, you listening that just say like, I just don't have the time, or like, there's just no way. There is a way. And once you start making that time and making the way, you'll have more time and the way will be easier. And, you know, it is the God's honest truth. I can't explain it any more clearly or simply. It is what it is, and you just have to trust in it and believe in the process, because the world is like running on 120% constantly. And, I would be lying if I said that I don't get on, and get anxiety when I'm on social media and trying to keep up with all my platforms. I would, everyone, we're human beings. We're going to deal with that. But it is how you deal with it and what you do to deal with it. And knowing that you're going to perform better when you're honoring your soul and honoring yourself than beating yourself up and wasting time, because you're just not that productive when you're not in a good mindset. So, it's going to be a lot less stress and a lot less work to get to the end result when you're in a balanced equilibrium. And when you can find that, when you can find the boundaries, when you can understand what you need to let go of to make space and room for things that you need to bring into your life that are going to make your life easier, more efficient, and have those boundaries that help you put up those boundaries when social media and the society and the world uh, wants to, shake our walls down. So I do believe in that.
So true. And I totally, totally agree with you on this, that, it has somehow become a lifestyle where we're constantly stimulated, but there is always a way out of it, and there is always a pause that can help us. Also, you work with so many visionary entrepreneurs and creators on self-image and branding, but the outer image often it mirrors the inner world, right? So how do you see inner wellness, clarity, self-worth, energetic alignment, and all of this translating into how someone shows up in their brand and presence, and their personal brand? So how do you see that?
Authenticity, I think, is the biggest key factor. I think that in order to shine the brightest, no matter what you're doing in life, especially when you're working in an entrepreneurial setting, authenticity is going to always win. And, people want a connection. People want they're yearning for authenticity and a connection to humanity. And um there's just, you flip on social media and everything's perfect and everything's, this it's easy to go down the rabbit hole, but in reality, the people I connect with on social media have authentic just presence and auras around them. And um, they're taking the time to speak meaningful, share their knowledge, share their personal journeys, and their stories, because I think when you do that, you don't even know how many other people you're helping. Um, it's really important, your story, your personal journey could connect with more people than you could ever imagine. And I think that a lot of people are afraid to share their story or their journey because they think like, "Oh, who would wanna listen to my story or my journey?" Um, and you'd be so surprised. You can't say who would wanna listen to my journey or my story unless you start speaking it. And, uh, I think that that's across the board where I see, uh personal entrepreneurs and personal brands growing, as well as big brands. I do a lot of marketing for, work on with a lot of marketing companies for like bringing campaigns and brand visions to life. And, authenticity always wins. So people are just, they're struggling right now and they want connection to authentic, the real deal.
That is so, 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 so true. And it's literally this thing, right? That we being our most authentic self is, and this comes out when you know what your self-worth is, you know who you are, and you know what you need, and you know how one cannot uh, put you down, and one can't picture you like that because you know who you are, and you know you what you've done for being where you are. So that makes so much sense, and I love that. Also, if you can't show up for yourself, you can't be anyone to anybody, is your mantra. And it is so, so profound. And I totally resonate with that. So, what does showing up look like for you now? Not just as a leader, but as a woman navigating the sacred and the demanding parts of life where, you're easily judged. But what is your showing up and what does it mean to you?
I for me, I always say another thing is I say is like, I'm human. We're all human. We all have to sleep. We all eat. We all go to the bathroom. We all do everything that each other do. And um perfectionism is paralyzing. And I used to be such a perfectionist. And there are still parts of me. It's in my DNA that are, like that are a perfectionist, because that's why I do good work and that's why I have great jobs, because I show up no matter what. Like, and I will, if I have committed to something, I'm committed to it, like I think that that's one of your core values. And like, what are your core values? One of my core values is loyalty. I'm going to show up, and when I say I'm going to show up, I'm going to show up. So I think that that's, in my opinion, something that i- is, you got to go back to your core values. And why do you do what you do? And you also have to be okay with why you do what you do. Like, if you don't know what your core values are, how are you walking through life? And and what's important to you? And I ask a lot of my a lot of my students, a lot of my mentees, when I start coaching them, I'm like, "What are your core values?" Is one of the questions. What are your core values, and what are your goals? And you'd be so surprised on how many people can't answer those. And I find it fascinating because I'm like, wow, how do you get up with purpose every day? And what is your purpose? What do you feel like is your purpose? And I think getting really clear on like what our core values are and like what our goals are really the reason that, I'm able to confidently walk through life. And Mel Robbins always says, let them, like, let them talk, let them say whatever they want, let them think whatever they want, just let them. And I really can say that I have that attitude. I really think that way, and I can only control what I can control. I can't control what um, you know a big corporate executive thinks of me, or you can't control what anyone thinks of you. You can't control what your husband or your partner, or you are not in control of anybody but yourself. And you have to be solid and grounded with that. And I think once you become clear on that, it's easy because you just find yourself, like, letting things go because you're like, that's so out of my control." And, it's not worth your energy. So, um, those are my little, like, the world isn't perfect. Neither are any of us. But you can make conscious choices on how you walk through life and what you let affect your peace.
That's beautiful, and that is so inspiring, and it reframes self care as a spiritual act and a commitment to the soul, rather than a luxury for the body. And that is what I take away through you today. What a luminous and heart centered exchange with Danielle today. She reminded us that manifestation is not about wishing, it's about witnessing ourselves fully. That mindset is not something we have, it's something we nurture, renew, and live from. So, as you move through your week, remember your outer world will always echo the frequency of your inner one. Show up for yourself, anchor your energy, and let your wellness become your most radiant form of success. Until next time, keep decoding your divine power. I'm Pragya Malviya, and this is Divine Decode.